Hi there, this is Gerard Welbrock, and you're tuned in to Tiger Talk. We're going to talk some women's basketball with head coach Tony Hobson and men's hoops with Mark Johnson. It's all coming up right after this on Tiger Talk.
At Eagle Communications, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. Our employee owners make it happen. We're part of your community, and we take pride in delivering excellent customer service. If you ever have a question, give us a call. We're here to help. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Talk. Gerard Welbrock with you for the next half hour or so as we talk Fort Hays State basketball. We'll be joined by women's coach Tony Hobson. His team continues to roll. 2 more victories here in the new year to go to 4-0 since the Christmas break. The Tigers a hard-fought 6-point win at Lindenwood Thursday and then a blowout victory at Lincoln on Saturday as they move to 14-1. And keep the pressure on Missouri Western, trailing by 1 game in the MIAA standings at 8-1. Tiger men, tough go, losing to a really, really good Lindenwood team Thursday and then coming up 6 points short at Lincoln on Saturday. So we'll talk about that with Coach Tony Hobson as well as men's coach Mark Johnson. The program once again brought to you by the great folks of the Golden Corral, north of the interstate in Hays. The Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA. We will take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk with women's coach Tony Hobson as Tiger Talk continues right after this. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Welbrock, head women's coach Tony Hobson. 2 big wins for Fort Hays State this week out on the road in central and eastern Missouri, knocking off Lindenwood Thursday in a very hard-fought game, and then a big victory on Saturday afternoon in Jeff City against Lincoln. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Golden Corral, where right now get breakfast for lunch and dinner going on at the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA, and 2 nice road wins. And I know we talked last week a little bit, last time you're in this situation. It didn't go well right before Christmas, but your team really did a good job, obviously taking care of business first on Thursday against a good Lindenwood team, hard-fought win, and then very solid effort against Lincoln. Obviously 2 road wins is always a great thing.
Well, it is, and it was just good to get 2 of them out of the way and under your belt after the new year starts. You know, you have 11 road games in the conference, and you know, you just kind of check them off as you play them and just hope you can win some of them because they're tough. And you know, I like the way we showed up and played against Lindenwood. I thought our effort was good, and in all, the execution wasn't great. We didn't shoot the ball great, but we again hung in there with the other aspects of our game and then made the plays down the stretch and by key people to pull that one out. And then on the tail end of the trip, it's just nice after being gone for 3-4 days and to be able to play with the energy we did, and we got off to a good start and we were ready to play. And I thought our bench did a very good job on Saturday, which is really important on that second day. We had to really extend our starters on Thursday, so it was important that our bench did a good job on Saturday, and they did.
In that Thursday game against Lindenwood, we talked about it, a good basketball team. I mean, record misleading because of who they've played. They nearly knocked off Missouri Western, who is still undefeated right now on their home floor. So a challenging team. And one of those games, you had the lead, you felt good, but you could never pull away. They just kept hanging around. But as you said, Paige hit a big 3 and made some big plays when they really counted in the final 5 minutes.
When you're not shooting the ball real well from outside, it's hard to ever stretch it out to 15, 20-point leads. So, we would get up 6 or 8 points, and then we would miss 2 or 3 open shots. We were getting good shots, and then that would allow them to kind of close the gap. So, just like you said, I mean, Paige hit a big 3. They came back and tied it up. Paige hit a 3. somebody drew a charge. It was either Ellie or Paige. And then Beth made a bunch of free throws down the stretch, and we took care of the ball. So when it came down to crunch time, we had 2 or 3 good stops and a couple key baskets.
Yeah, 11 to 12 free throws in the fourth quarter, all of them probably inside the last 3 or so minutes. That's always a pretty good recipe when you know you're going to get fouled to step up there and knock them in. And Beth hit, I think, all 6 of hers, and that's important, home or away, to do that.
Well, it's nice when you have your point guard that can make those free throws, because that's whose hands you want the ball in, because they can handle it, and Beth doesn't turn it over as a rule. So you don't want to have only one person where you get a certain person the ball and they have to make 3 or 4 cuts. It's just nice. Get it into your point guard, take care of the ball until you get fouled, and then make your free throws. And it makes things a lot simpler. It makes it easier to close games out.
Gengenbacher, an outstanding player for them, one of the better players in the conference, one of the top scorers in the league. You held her to 13 points and really, I'm not going to say made her a non-factor, but we've seen her take over games. What was working so well defensively against one of the premier players in this conference?
Well, we had 2 different people guarding her. We wanted Taylor Chandler to guard the ball on the way up the floor and apply pressure. In the half court, whenever we got the chance, we would switch and have Beth take the point guard and Taylor Chandler guard Gengenbacher. And so it was either Beth or Taylor. Both of them are undersized as far as guarding her, but you know, she didn't really get us posted up at all, and she didn't hurt us on the glass. And those 2 are, you know, they're both smart kids and experienced defenders. And while Beth isn't as athletic as Taylor, Beth is as cagey as they come, and knows when to back off, knows when to be right up on them, and so we kind of mixed it up and tried to keep her off balance. And you know, 4 for 12, 13 points is a fairly pedestrian game for her, because she's averaging 20. So the main thing is just to make her work for her points and not give her easy baskets. And she did get a couple easy ones in transition, but we shut that off after the first half. And
then you mentioned Saturday, good solid effort. A lot of people stepped up, but Jill Faxon, 15 points, 10 rebounds, just a solid game for her. And that happens most nights, but she really kind of set the tone and carried you guys that way.
Well, Jill is just physically such a powerhouse. I mean, she plays with energy. She's got a lot of bounce to her. She can jump, she can run, and she didn't look fatigued at all on Saturday. And her conditioning is outstanding. And boy, in those type of games where sometimes you're dragging a little bit, it's important to have 2 or 3 kids like her that it is just not a factor. So she played with tremendous energy, which at 1 o'clock on a snowy day in Jeff City with 30 people in the stands on an end of a 4-day road trip, sometimes it's a challenge. But she brought it, and I thought all of our kids really were ready to play and had learned they can't overlook anybody, and you could tell kind of by the way we started the game.
And it was fun to get some of the other players in, clear the bench a little bit, not have it go down to the wire, but good experience for them. And as we saw last year, you never know when 1 or 2 of them are going to be put into a key situation in a big game here from this point forward.
Well, you said that exactly right. We had kids last year that didn't play a huge role minute-wise all year, and then it comes down to the conference tournament and the regional tournament when we had key injuries that they were thrown in there, and they had kept a good attitude about things and kept working on their games, and it showed. So it was good, especially, you know, when you can get the freshmen in, and Carly Heim did a good job, and she's a key player for us anyway, but some games dictate she doesn't get as many minutes, and the other day I thought she played a good game, got 20 minutes in, and was very solid. And then with Tatiana inside, she just needs to play a lot. I mean, she's going to steadily get better. She just needs experience playing. So those type of games are really invaluable for her.
A couple of big wins for Fort Hays State, now 14-1, 8-1 in the conference, and back at home. It'll feel good this week as they take on Northeastern State on Thursday and then Central Oklahoma Saturday afternoon. We'll talk more about the matchups when we return. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA, and we're back right after this.
They're growing up and getting busier. Between school, sports, dance, sleepovers, you want to make sure they can always reach you when they need to. Nextech Wireless has the perfect cell phone starter plan. For only $40 per month, it includes unlimited data, calling, and texting. There are no contracts or overages, so they can call, text, YouTube, and stream all they want. Plus, smartphones start at just $150. Certain restrictions apply. Get the $40 WOW unlimited plan at Nextech Wireless.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Walbrock, head women's coach Tony Hobson. It's brought to you by the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA. And when you purchase your regular meal, get the $2.99 take-home box right now at the Golden Corral, just north of the interstate in Hayes. Fort Hays State at home after the long road trip last week. They'll have 2 more games this week. Thursday night, Northeastern State. The Riverhawks come to town. And then Saturday afternoon, it is Central Oklahoma. And obviously 2 big games because of the next 2 games, but at home and trying to hold serve against 2 teams that Northeastern has struggled a little bit, but looks like they're playing a lot better right now, and that's the first and foremost thing on the agenda, the game on Thursday. But a team that in the past has been very solid and looks like they're starting to figure some things out this season.
Well, one thing you know about Northeastern is they're gonna be constantly moving around on offense. They run a motion offense that is lots of cutters and lots of movement. And then they always have 2 or 3 kids that can really shoot the ball from a long ways. And anytime you have players with range, it changes how you have to guard things. So I think they're like us. They're a little smaller. They'll be athletic and they'll move a lot. So we're gonna, it's always a different kind of scouting report on Northeastern. It's just different. I'm kind of glad we're playing them the first game because. I think we need a little more time to look at what they do than Central's more talented, but they're probably a little more generic in what they do. They just come at you, with one-on-one matchups and a little more size and a little more traditional things than Northeastern. So we'll be ready to play and be good to be at home, and we need to make sure we take advantage of this. And after playing on the road for a few games and seeing other people's atmosphere and crowds, I think our kids really appreciate playing at home and having people in the stands, and it just makes a lot of difference for us, I think.
You mentioned Northeastern, and you've played well against them for the most part since they've joined the MIAA, but it is unique. Do you have to change much trying to guard them? Do you just go back to fundamentals? How do you go about it? Because you said they've got people moving everywhere. I mean, it's very challenging.
Well, it is, and when you first see it, it kind of is intimidating. You're wondering, how are we ever going to guard that? And that's why I like to have a little more time, because the last 3 or 4 times we've played them, we've had them completely figured out, and we've really shut them down. I think it was 3 years ago when they were the 3 seed and we were the 6 seed in the conference tournament, and we beat them by 19 or 20. And there's 2 or 3 key things in their offense where if you know it's coming, you can kind of make a couple switches and you can stop a few things. But there isn't anything really other than have your team prepared for constant movement and deep threats and stay up on the ball, make them put it on the floor instead of giving them the chance to get raised up and shoot it. And you just can't overestimate how far out a couple of their kids will shoot it. The Bellamy girls, she'll shoot it from 30 feet. You just cannot relax and be surprised. So another thing we'll probably have to be ready for is a little zone defense. I think they've been playing some of that. If I was playing against us, I would play some zone. We always take a few minutes to get settled into that. I mean, you can count on us not scoring for a while. Now, maybe if we saw more of it, it wouldn't be that much. And I'm hoping that's the case, because I still think we're going to see some down the stretch.
Should be certainly an interesting game Thursday night. And then, as you mentioned, Central Oklahoma, good basketball team. I mean, they've been up in the upper half of the standings really all year long, and as you said, very talented squad that always plays hard. So that'll cap off a very challenging week for you guys.
Well, Central they're as talented probably as anybody. They have 3 or 4 quality players. They have size. They have a good point guard. Shoot the ball pretty well from the 3-point line. So they've been, they've been tough. I mean, they got Washburn Saturday night. They got Missouri Southern, I believe, at Southern. I mean, they've had some quality wins. They played Pitt very close. They played Emporia close. So they'll be a tough matchup for us, and hopefully maybe we get them on the end of that long trip. It'll help us a little bit, but we'll have to really be ready for them.
Well, that'll be on Saturday, but first things first, Northeastern State coming to town on Thursday night. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Great job out in Missouri, and hopefully the home cooking's good for your gals.
Okay, thanks, Gerard.
That's head coach Tony Hobson of the Tiger women. Again, 5:30 on Thursday night with Northeastern State, and then a 2 o'clock tip Saturday afternoon against the Broncos of Central Oklahoma. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some men's basketball with head coach Mark Johnson. We'll do that right after this. Tiger Talk presented by the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA, and we're back right after the break.
BOS Motorsports in Hayes introduces the top off-road vehicle lineup with Polaris. The world leader in off-road innovation presents the Razor, Ranger, Sportsman, and Ace off-road vehicles right here in the heartland of BOS Motorsports in Hayes. Whether you're looking for something for the trail, the farm, the oil patch, the hunt, BOS has the ride just for you. Stop in today and ride away with yours. At BOS, customer service is number one. Our in-house parts and service department will take care of you before, during, and after the sale. BOS Motorsports just north of I-70 at exit 159 in Hayes.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk, presented by the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA, just north of the interstate in Hayes, open 7 days a week. Joined by head men's coach Mark Johnson. Tigers, tough week on the road, losing at a very good Lindenwood team Thursday, and then a tough 6-point setback to Lincoln on Saturday afternoon. And so we'll go back to Thursday night. One of the biggest teams I can remember, 7-1 center. I mean, like 7-1, 6'9", 6'8", 6'6", 6'5". Then they bring a 6'9" player off the bench. It was a big challenge, and a couple of things you had to have happen. You shoot the ball well from the perimeter, them not. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. They were also shooting it well, and that made for a bad recipe on Thursday.
Yeah, we have not played well there. That's 3 times in a row. We've really struggled. Just going into the game, felt like that were probably the worst matchup of anybody in our conference. Their size is a big factor. You know, they make it hard to score. They make it hard for everybody to score, but especially us. You know, we got a lot of shooters, and with that size up front, they don't have to help. They dare you to try to finish on the 7'1" guy. We struggle with that. You know, we've been able to throw it inside to our post players and play off them and let them score in the post. You know, our big guys, our post players struggle with their size, so we really couldn't throw it inside and score. You know, we really couldn't penetrate and try to kick it out to other guards who can shoot the ball. They just didn't leave those guys. So tough matchup, and then we just didn't get it done defensively. Way too many offensive rebounds, 13 in the first half, and that's what just let them get away from us at halftime. You know, if we would have guarded better and probably more importantly rebounded better. I don't think our defense was that bad. Arnson played well, but if we could have rebounded better, it's not quite out of hand at halftime, and you're at least in hopefully striking distance.
Well, I guess to your team's credit, they did battle, but so far behind, tough to make a real big dent, but made a little bit of a push, which was good to see them not quitting in that game.
Yeah, you know, I thought our guys, we played hard in the second half. We didn't quit. Like I said, we tried and battled. I think, which is good to see. I think sometimes though it's a false premise when hey we outscored someone in the second half. Well, obviously we all know when someone's up big, they don't play quite as with the same intensity level as the second half. But I do think our guys did. We came out there and competed and showed a little character for sure.
And then came back on Saturday in Jefferson City against Lincoln, and we talked going in how good that backcourt was, and they're impressive. It's going to be pretty hard to find a better backcourt group than those three that they have, and they were the main three that kind of carried the Blue Tigers on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean they have the best backcourt in the conference, and you know their surrounding guys are nice role players. You know, it's not like those guys are untalented. So, you know, I thought we played really well. We played hard. We were locked in. You know, it seems to me over the years that when you're on a 4-day road trip, that 10 minutes to go in the game, at times that's when you start to crack. That seems to be it. And I don't know if that's a physical part of it or a mental part of it, but we kind of had the game in control, not won by any means, but you felt like you had in control going your way, and then they just turned it on and we didn't have an answer. If you look at the thing that got in our way again, it's really been a problem since we started conference play, is we turned the ball over too much. You know, we had 18 turnovers. You can't go on the road against a talented team and turn it over 18 times. I think now in our 9 conference games, we have 20 more turnovers than assists. and that's hard to be. It's hard to win. It's definitely hard to win on the road when you're doing that.
Yeah, they scored 29 points off of those turnovers, so that's kind of the double whammy. Videur, a very good player, one of the top scorers in the conference. You held him to 15. Thought you did a pretty good job against him and not letting him just controlling the game. But Smith had a big day. Richie Lewis had a big day. That's a challenge with them. It's not just a one-man show.
Yeah, Jalen Smith averages 20 a game, and he's their second leading scorer. We did a good job with them. What really got us was the point guard went for 18, and then the number 25 kid went for 12. We did a decent job containing those guys. I thought Smith he was the key to their run. We were up 10, and he hit 2 big threes in that stretch that kind of got the momentum in their favor, and we just could not score. We couldn't get stops, but we could not score coming down the stretch. You got to, when you're playing a good team on the road, they're going to make a run. They're going to turn it on. We just could not answer back with points. We kept getting shut out and have to go back down on defense. So our offense, in some ways, I felt like let us down maybe in that last 10 minutes.
Well, the Tigers dropped to 5-4 in the conference with the loss, and 11-4 overall. Back at home as well this week. Thursday night, Northeastern State in town, and then on Saturday, Central Oklahoma. We'll talk about the matchups when we return. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA, and we're back right after this.
At Eagle Communications, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. Our employee owners make it happen. We're part of your community, and we take pride in delivering excellent customer service. If you ever have a question, give us a call. We're here to help. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back. It's our final segment here on Tiger Talk, brought to you by the Golden Corral, where you can get breakfast for lunch or dinner going on right now at the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA. Tigers back at home. It'll be nice to be at home. Thursday night, Northeastern State, and then on Saturday, taking on Central Oklahoma, and a Northeastern State team that has struggled a bit, but seems to be playing maybe a little bit better right now, and just always a challenging team to face the Riverhawks.
Yeah, both these teams, don't let their conference record fool you. Our league is so strong from top to bottom this year. It's always been what our league's about, and it's times 10 this year. Our bottom teams are so much better. We're just kind of squeezed to the middle. And you look at Central Oklahoma and Northeastern, they've played basically 7 out of their 9 conference games on the road. It's a challenge to win on the road. They finally get it home, and they sweep their homestand. So their records has more to do with them being on the road than the type of team they've had. I think when it all shakes out and they have play as many home games when that finally comes around, as they'll be having solid year. So we're going to have our hands full. We know how challenging it is to win on the road in this league. So this is really a big week for us. We have got to find a way to win these games to give ourselves a chance. You look at Lindenwood's up there tied for first. They basically have only played 2 road games. So they got some road games coming up. So, the main thing in our league this year is you got to win your home games, which we've already, stubbed our toe a little bit at home, and then just see how many road wins you can get. So we got a lot of pressure on us this week to take care of business.
You look at Northeastern State. It seems like they've always got a couple of really good players who can shoot the ball. What's the big challenge? What it catches your eye so far with this year's group?
Yeah, they got a couple of the guys that hurt us last year, that last game of the year. The Mohair kid's a good kid, a talented player. He got hurt a little bit last year. The Caudell kid's a good player up front. They're athletic. They'll pressure. You look at us last year at their place. They like to trap, do some full court things. We had a lead at halftime, and then they just started pressuring us, and we couldn't handle it, and we turned it over. Which again, that's been a problem with us. So I think, can we handle their pressure? And they'll get extended at times and try to trap and things. If we handle it, we'll be fine. If we handle it like we have so far, it's going to make it a difficult night for us.
And then UCO, there's been some big matchups with them. And as you said, they got their first 7 on the road, which is unbelievable to start conference play. But always a very proud program. They've had a lot of success, and sure they're going to get very excited to play the Tigers, for those who certainly know all about what's become a pretty good rivalry.
Yeah, they're a good team. Like I said, you can't let their record. Most teams, you put 7 in a row on the road, they're not going to have the greatest conference record in the MIAA. Very big. They're a big team. can shoot the basketball. New coach, but a lot of the same players of a year ago that I felt like was a pretty talented bunch.
Nope, should be very interesting. That'll be on Saturday. First things first, Northeastern State on Thursday night. Coach, we appreciate the time. Have a great week of practice, and we'll see you at the Coliseum on Thursday.
All right, thank you, Gerard.
That's head coach Mark Johnson of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, it is a 5:30 and 7:30 doubleheader Thursday against Northeastern State, and then 2 and 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon against the Broncos of Central Oklahoma. That'll wrap up the program. Certainly hope you enjoyed it. It's brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, Couture for Men and Women, and Eagle Communications, and of course by Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, north of the interstate in Hayes. It's the best buffet in the USA. For women's coach Tony Hobson, men's coach Mark Johnson, this is Gerard Welbrock. So long, everyone.
At Eagle Communications, we deliver what matters to your business. Our services are fast, reliable, secure, and competitively priced, giving you more value for your hard-earned business dollar. With Eagle Communications, you're not just another number, you're part of our business family. And we deliver peace of mind with local technicians who provide dedicated system monitoring and support. Connect to something better. Call Eagle Communications, and let's talk about what matters to your business.
Thanks for watching Tiger Talk. If you missed any portion of it, you can always catch the audio replay from Tiger Radio Mix 103 or the video replay at HayesPost.com. We'll see you next time right here on Tiger Talk.